So a lot of
No problem.
good morning. A lot of confusion over the STAR program and how the changes have happened. So now you gotta well, let's go over what changes have happened. It used to be you'd sign up, you had a deadline, and they tell you make sure you sign up in order to get the savings. And it used to what? It used to just basically come off the top of your tax bill.
Yeah, essentially you get the
Yep.
upfront savings on your tax bill,
Right.
whereas now if you're a new homeowner, so if you purchased a home after 2015, this change would apply.
Yeah, I think I lost you.
Sorry
There we
about
go.
that.
Yeah.
This change would apply to you if you purchased a home after 2015, and instead of the upfront savings, you would get a rebate check from the state of New York from the Department of Taxation and Finance.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're told that if you applied by July of last year in 2016, then you would start getting your check in September of last year. And what we're finding is that many people still have not gotten their check, and we're into February here of 2017.
Why the change? What was the reason for the change?
The reason behind the change was actually pretty valid. There was a report done by the state comptroller, an audit that showed there was about 30% fraud in the STAR program. You're only supposed to use STAR on your primary residence. They found people were using it on more than one home. You had people who were living in Florida using it on their home in New York. So there was some fraud involved. So this was a way to try and crack down on that. But I think there were better ways to go about it than what they ended up doing.
You know, I originally thought that STAR was for, initially, wasn't it for the elderly? At a certain age, you're a homeowner. It gives you a break on your taxes. And then I remember my tax person saying, boy, have you guys signed up for the STAR? And I'm like, well, we're a little young for that. No, it's for everybody. You can sign up and you'll get the break. Is that
Right.
the way it initially was supposed to be a program for the elderly?
Initially, it was for the elderly, and then they expanded it to everybody because of the high cost of property taxes in New York State.
Yeah.
But if you are over, I believe, age 65, you do get an enhanced benefit, so it's more than the traditional STAR.
Got it. And then I guess my next question would be, why not just lower property taxes across the board at one swipe, and as opposed to doing this type of program where you got to sign up for it and all of that?
That's one of the things that should be happening. New York State should be lowering taxes, property taxes across the board. It's hard because it's hard to find compromise on how to do that, where the savings comes from. But if you look at home prices, especially in upstate New York compared to property taxes, we pay the highest property taxes in the entire country. And that is really the highest burden, not only on residents, but on businesses. And that's the area where if we could do the most help, we would lower property taxes for everybody, and that would help business, help residents stay in the state.
And so you're proposing what? That we go back to at the very least right now, go back to a check program?
We go back to the upfront savings program that everyone was very used to, that worked well for so many years. Let's go back to that program and then try and crack down on what kind of fraud and abuse is out there. But let's go back to the upfront savings program, because it's just this Department of Taxation. I've never seen so many calls come into my office from people who have still not gotten their check, and they just were not equipped to handle the large amount of rebate checks that had to go out, the verification procedures that had to be applied to make sure the right people were getting checks. People were getting less than they were told they were going to be getting. So it's just been a complete debacle. We need to scrap it and go back to the old system.
Well, and let's just think about this. You're trying to save money because there's fraud. So we go to a program that now needs, I would assume, needs more employees. You need to physically buy these checks, physically send these checks out, print these checks. All of that costs, especially when we get up into the numbers that we're talking about, it costs a lot of money. At the end of the day, are we really spending more than we were when we were stuck with fraud?
Well, that's a great question. Theoretically, they probably had to hire a whole bunch more employees to do this. They probably did not, and they're trying to keep up with the demand, with the amount of staff and expertise that they have right there now, which is not helping. So we could do it the old way, where you get the upfront savings. The assessors are well versed on how to do that, and that's the best way to go about doing it. And then we can crack down on the fraud, do some more, spend the money on the fraud unit or whatever it is that has to go after people who are misusing the program. not punishing everybody.
And listen, I always appreciate your being frank and blunt. You're very good with that. So I want to throw this at you. I hate programs like this that basically it's saying, here, Bill, give me $10. And then you give me back 50 cents and say, aren't I nice? I just gave you 50 cents. Can you talk about that a little bit? This is a typical, especially Governor Cuomo program that even Pataki did the same thing when he had those rebate checks. It's like, come on, just let us keep our money in the first place.
Well, that's the thing. If you look, another problem that the taxation department had is they were trying to process rebate checks for homeowners who lived in municipalities that stayed under the 2% property tax cap. That was another gimmick that they came up with last year, where you would get a rebate check, and conveniently it would come out right in October before the election, so people would be very happy.
Yep.
But you're right. This is all gimmicks. Let's just focus on the larger problem. That's the cost of property taxes in New York State, trying to cut those so people can get the upfront savings and not have to have all these gimmicks of rebate checks and other things that just end up turning into a bureaucratic nightmare. And
can I hit you on the Utica School District story again, which seems to be the revolving story every year? And here they're at 1.3 million dollars. I forgot the number I looked at this morning. In shortfall this year, which could mean more layoffs. The amount of staff that they've lost over the last 4 or 5 years, and how this district is growing. How do we fix this? And is there a fix in place, do you think, this year for the city of Utica School District?
I think the good news for all school districts is right now what the governor is proposing is too low in terms of foundation aid, which helps all school districts in our area. So we can use that as a starting point where they're going to have a $1.5 million shortfall. The legislature, through the Assembly and the Senate, traditionally always adds more money to the foundation aid formula, which I think is going to help close Utica's shortfall and many other school districts' shortfall. But if it stays like it is right now, with just that $378 million going towards the aid, then every district in our area is going to have layoffs, whether it's Utica or New Hartford or Rome or Frankfurt or whoever. They're all going to be facing a pretty tough budget year. But we need to add some more funding to the foundation formula to help those areas like ours in the Mohawk Valley that have low property tax wealth. We also need to make some changes to the formula to reflect districts that have increased population, like Utica, that has a growth in population and that has larger percentages of English language learners. Those numbers in the formula have not been updated in many years. We're still using poverty data from the 2000 census, so we have a lot of updating to do in the formula to make it more equitable for all schools.
Is this going to be the year you think that the formula gets corrected?
I'm hoping this is. I don't know if it's going to be a wholesale change to the formula this year. I think there are going to be some tweaks in the formula to make it more equitable. That's the one thing I'm pushing for. You have a lot of advocates out there in the education world that are just pushing for more and more money into the formula. I think that's all well and good. We also have to make changes to the formula so that the money that is invested in education is going to those districts that need it the most.
And finally, I want to ask you, today's OD has a story about this, the legislators, including yourself, that have formed a coalition working together and possibly with public meetings as well. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, this is an idea. I've talked to Senator Griffo about this for a while, forming like a Mohawk Valley caucus, just a way for all of us to get together, both Democrats and Republicans, to discuss local issues, ways that we can work together. Senator Griffo and I have done this for a number of years anyways, working together, and it's really trying to expand on that to include our colleagues in the Senate and the Assembly who represent the region. So when it does come budget time, we're talking together, we're working together on these issues that affect our area.
You're talking about Griffo, Senator Seward, Valesky, yourself, Butler, Brian Miller, who was just elected to fill the former seat there by the Congresswoman, and Blackenbush, and also Bill McGee. Everybody working together, no matter the party. Everybody working together for one common goal of the area.
That's the idea, and I think that's what everyone in government should be doing at every level, despite what party label is next to your name.
All right, interesting. All right, Assemblyman Anthony Brindisi, as always, thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, Bill, real quick, can I just plug something? Tonight we have our second and third town hall tonight and tomorrow. One's in Frankfurt at the gymnasium from 6 to 8, and then tomorrow in Utica at Mohawk Valley Community College, we have our last town hall from 6 to 8 p.m.
Listen, I don't want to catch you off guard here, but do you have an opinion on the Congresswoman who's decided not to hold town hall meetings? It's something that Republicans seem to be doing because there are people out there that are waiting for these meetings to protest, but it looks like there won't be town hall meetings in this congressional district. Your thoughts on it?
What I think is unfortunate is for any member of Congress who's saying that people are just being paid to protest. That's not true. There's a lot of people out there who really want to express their opinions on issues that are happening at the national level. And whether it's this district or any district, I would encourage any congressional member to hold a town hall. It's the best way to get face-to-face interaction with your voters so you can learn the issues and be a better representative.
All right. Anthony Brindisi, thanks so much. Appreciate it. And again, that town hall, your town hall, tonight, again, where is that tonight?
Tonight is in Frankfurt at the high school and the gymnasium from 6 to 8, and then tomorrow night at Mohawk Valley Community College in Utica from 6 to 8.
All right. Good stuff. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.